steal my sunshine. You steal my sunshine. It's the only words we know. Steal my sunshine. All that matters. Hey guys, it's Friday.
And just, I wish I could turn the camera around. Because we have two 15/16-year-olds on the other side in the water who literally just stopped and looked at us and went, "Oh my God, you guys are crazy because you actually play a song before you go live."
And we told them they have to be quiet.
I was like, just before we went on, I'm like, "We're going live. Everyone be quiet."
So we wanted to take advantage of the, summertime gorgeous weather, and we changed it up every time we come to you lately. We're in a different location.
We're either separate, we're in your kitchen, we're here, we're inside, we're outside. But today we thought we'd bring it outside because it's Friday. It's the end of the day. Why not?
Yeah,
so
cool.
How's everybody's week? What's been going on? What have you been strategizing about? What planning have you been doing?
Yeah, because we started this week on Monday talking all about strategy, right?
Mm-hmm.
We talked about how important it was to take your ideas and make them into a roadmap so that you could actually move forward. And I think a lot of people, love the whole idea part, right? Yeah. Everyone loves the idea part. They're like, I've got a great idea. I've got a great idea. And then that's it. And then they walk away.
No, what I do is I have a really great idea. So I put it on my phone.
And then you walk away.
And then I walk away. So Teresa's had a very busy week. So hi, Teresa. Great to see you here. I hear you. It's been a week, but I have to just do a little bit of a I'm so excited moment because in my brain, when something just doesn't click, when I know a process and I want to get from here to here and I'm just missing one piece, I am like a dog with a bone, and I've been trying to figure this out. So finally, I actually found a program that was able to explain it to me, and I was able to make it work. And I'm literally on top of the moon. I'm like, finally, I get it. I know how to do it. And so I'm like super excited, and it's a great way to end the week.
See, get it? Strategy. I found the program. Producer, she does the program.
And it was awesome. Now, it was a 30-day challenge. So I had to unfortunately skim through the first 20 days
until she found the answer.
But I found the answer. I now have the video. I now know how it works, and I'm super excited. So Tech Girl here is literally hanging on.
She's very happy. Very, very happy.
I deserve a drink after that.
Yes, you do.
So how was your week?
It was hectic, right? So, I was we were with you guys all week. We started on, like I said, Monday we did strategy. Tuesday we did the tech, and then Thursday were Wisdom Wednesdays. Thursday, though, last night, in our On Point Mentors group, for those of you who are part of our group, we did a lot of debrief into what we're doing right now, which is course creation, creating your program, and coaching on how to be a better and a more effective coach. So for some of you, you're doing everything at once, right? You're joining our trainings, you're doing 2 courses at once, you're getting out there, you're putting your business together, and it's exhausting, but good for you. Because the truth is, momentum is amazing. It manages to keep rolling and pushing you, and you gain results and you gain more traction. So don't look up.
But I think it's similar. So again, the program that I was looking at earlier was a lot of setup.
Yeah.
So once you have things set up, though, you can actually continue and use it multiple times. So I feel like that's the same way with any of the systems that you set up, anything from a course. Once it's set up, it's a lot of work to set it up.
Yeah.
But once it's set up, then you can just sell it, which is the great thing. So Teresa's slightly overwhelmed with everything.
Yeah, it's okay.
But that's okay. It's a good tired.
It's a good. Yeah. It's it's one of those things. Like I was for all of July. July was the toughest month of the year for me.
Yeah.
Because I bring my husband up here, who's, as you know, severely disabled, and we don't have any help, and it's very, very hard because on top of running the businesses and looking after him and doing everything else, it's challenging. So I feel like, Teresa, it was the same for me, because I was not only doing all this stuff, producing programs, we're working on another one that's coming out, and it was exhausting. And then I think it was on Wednesday, Thursday yesterday.
Today is definitely Friday. That's all I can tell you.
So it was on Wednesday. I just said I can't do any work today, and I took a day off for first day.
Good for you.
First day in a lot of months. But I don't mean I didn't really take a whole day off, but I took a day off of really intense work, and I did more tedious stuff. But the reason
emails,
yeah,
that's
the
what
reason
I do.
I could do it is because I have my strategies in place and I have my production in place. So I have my producer who actually, puts the steps that we come up with in action. So the truth is that I have the ability to do that. So when you actually, Teresa, when you actually get everything, and I know it's tough right now, but when you get everything in place, you can take time off and you can relax because the machine is moving.
But she's learning a lot. So she's saying she's learning a lot, though, which
good.
is great. And that's the whole thing because, there is a process, right? You first need to learn how to do it, and then you need to do it. And that does take time. But once you have it done, it is so I can't tell you the feeling. It's like once my course is created or once a landing page is complete or once a sales page, once you get it done and you kind of figure it out, it's like, yes.
Yeah, it's great.
You can hear on Friday going, I did it.
Yeah.
And you can have a celebratory something.
So for those of you who come on Mondays and Tuesdays and Thursdays and Fridays to hang with us, the truth is, this is our schedule and we do it and some people say, are you guys crazy? But no, we really do enjoy doing it.
I think we're a little crazy too.
Maybe a little bit.
That's good.
But I think, kudos to you guys for doing it. And I think keep showing up because that means that you have momentum. That means you are really, truly, finally, saying you're going to do this, you're going to, pursue your dreams, you're going to build your business. So once you start showing up, that to us, we know who's in the game to win it because we start seeing those faces, right? And that makes a difference.
Exactly. So I would love to know your questions as I take the bugs off of my screen.
You guys can hear the seagulls and the birds and the boys in the background.
Probably can't hear, hopefully can't hear them, but that's okay. They're really loud, but that's okay. So what's your questions? What are you working on?
Yeah. Do you have any questions about your businesses, about your lead magnets that you've just named and you want to get, some feedback on or what direction you want to go, whatever you want to ask, we're here.
Well, and Anthea's just jumping in to say hi. So she's saying,
Anthea.
hey, jumping in quickly to say thanks. She focused a couple hours today and she got a lot done.
Excellent.
That is amazing. You know what? That's awesome because productive work is so much better than just busy work.
Yeah.
Right, I have to run errands, I have to do this, I have to do that,
Yeah.
or you're spending time and it's not productive. So when you actually have that time and it's focused, you can get so much done.
Absolutely.
So much done. So Stacy, great name, by the way, I have to say. Even though we spell it differently, it's still a great name. Love it. So Stacy is asking,
Yes.
how do you recommend narrowing down a focus for either coaching or consulting?
So
I'll throw that one your way.
Yeah. So again, it depends on a couple things. Number one is you look at what you're good at and what you've already done a lot of. And the other is what the market is looking for. So right now, if you go into check out Yahoo Answers, Google Keywords, you can start searching for what people are searching for. And then you have a better indication of what will sell. And when I'm talking about selling, it's not only products, it's coaching as well. So you can streamline your coaching into that level. So right now, I would say people, and Stacey, I don't know your background, but on the life side, people are interested in, stress management, in balance, because everyone is, I call it that COVID fog, right? Everyone is,
I think we're still in it.
we are, I am, I am for sure. We feel like we're a little bit lethargic and we're not really sure the direction and stuff. And that's normal. That's for everybody. Everyone's going through it pretty much right now. So that's, if you're good at coping with those strategies, that's the kind of coaching you do, that's great. On the other side, on the business side, people are really struggling with two things. One is existing business owners need to figure out how to get their business back and running.
Yeah.
There's so many of them that need marketing strategies, they need brand strategies, they need to understand what direction to focus on. And then on the flip side of that, there's so many people that have lost their jobs and they need to start identifying, what skills, abilities they have and how they can, pursue something else, whether it's, consulting or coaching or programs. So I think you have to kind of be intuitive in the marketplace and take what you already have as a skill, right?
So she works in television. She says, I work in the television industry, marketing/sales, working with small to medium-sized businesses.
Cool. So
That's a great.
yeah, it is. So you're actually working with who in the television business? So are they actual TV stations? Are they marketing agencies? Who exactly are you working with? The TV industry right now is kind of interesting, right? Because I think more and more people are streaming.
Yep.
Because they realize that that's the only place they can really see anything, because the regular traditional TV stations started, falling down on their programming, understandably.
So she works for a TV station and she's the director of sales.
Great. So you're really focused on how you get people to still buy into your programming, right? And still being able to advertise. I think you're in a unique marketplace right now because you still have a medium that a lot of small businesses can look to get some exposure. And I think, if I was you, Stacy, I would really focus on teaching those businesses how to reach out to consumers non-traditionally. So if their advertising was, whatever, restaurant, good times and patios and like dancing, that's not working, right?
You can't do that now.
You can't do that anymore. So you have to teach them. You have to be their teacher. So you could simply advise them of what would be working in the marketplace. So, I would work on, their takeout and that whole family feeling of dinners, but not having to prepare them for yourself and grabbing that. Exactly. So it's your job to identify their avenues, because most of those small business owners are so stressed right now because they have no idea how they're going to work. They have no idea how they're going to pay the rent. They don't know if their businesses are going to be there for them in a couple of months, and what money they have, whether it's government subsidies or loans or whatever, they're willing to spend it to keep it afloat. So what is that going to entail? They have right now, I don't know where you're from, Stacy, but wherever you're from, there might be, the government might be helping them with rent subsidies. So that's kind of covered. Wage subsidies, that's kind of covered. What they need to bring people into their businesses, right? Or they need clients, they need customers. And so your job is more of, I know your sales, your job's more of strategy, to be honest.
And she's in Hawaii.
Lovely.
So a little jealous right now, I have to say, although it's beautiful here. So
Yeah.
I won't say I'm too jealous,
No. But see, so they've lost a lot of tourism.
Yep.
All these small businesses, they don't want to spend their money, obviously, with your TV station or anywhere else, but they're willing to if you give them their solution. So the problem with most salespeople is, and I know a lot in the industry, a lot of them are just selling, like the cachet. You can be on the morning show and you can do this. So your job is to give them a strategy of how it's going to help their business, and not in the traditional sense in terms of, viewership. I would say, we're going to present you in a different light to get the people that are using those services into your business. So I think it's kind of an exciting one. Stacy, if you really wanted to focus on that and again, do the work, I don't know if you're asking just as a salesperson or as a coach, but that could be a massive program for you to run out, like a massive program for small business owners on how they can still, benefit from TV, from ads, from traditional medium, but like turning it on its head and saying, this is what we can do, because I don't think a lot of people are doing that. A lot of people are running scared.
Well, and I think they're not realizing the benefit that they can get from maybe advertising in some of those different mediums, right? And because of their financial situation, they may not be wanting to spend oodles and oodles of money from their advertising budget. So, just trying to figure out what works for them.
Yeah. And packages, I don't know how involved you are of what you can do at the stations, but I think, you know, if you're one of the progressive stations that can say, okay, we're going to feature local businesses, we're going to put them in our stories as part of the ad campaign, right? We're going to bundle a whole opportunity for them to drive business and traffic into their small business because they're important. Because at the end of the day, when we come out of this, they're the people that are going to say, Stacy was the one that helped me through this. She's the one that made me have customers come in. And so I'm sticking with her because she actually treated me like a human being, like a business, right?
Yeah.
Like somebody that has to pay the rent and is trying as hard as they can to survive.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think we're still, when we say come out of this, I don't think we mean come out of this as in, you know, COVID is now gone. I think it's just the fog of it.
Yeah.
I think we're still in the trying to figure everything out. And with so much uncertainty becomes the not willing to leap on different things, right? I mean, there's just so much going on right now. I'm trying to figure things out. I'm like, on one hand, listening to a school board meeting on, you know, what's going to happen with my kid in September, which is only a couple of weeks away.
Yeah.
And then I switch gears and I'm working on my business. And then I'm switching gears again, looking on Twitter to figure what the news is and the newest numbers. And so I just think the switching back and forth, I think I am definitely not working.
Well, I think a lot
as focused.
Yeah, and a lot of businesses are like that. I'm working with a breakfast restaurant chain. And it's a struggle because we're trying to figure out methods to get people in. And so again, we're resorting to what I just talked about, which was changing it up and saying, you know, positioning it as, you know, a break from having to cook. Positioning it as, you know, we're here, you're a neighborhood, you can come visit us all the time, and the safety aspects, etc. So that is really key. Now, I don't know any radio stations or TV stations that have approached us. So if somebody actually from a local TV station came to us and said, look, we want to do a story because we know your businesses are struggling, and if you guys want to do some advertising with us, we'll put together this package. Since I'm the one who's consulting for this company, I would recommend that. If somebody came to me with, as I always say, tied up in a bow.
Yeah, I love that bow.
I want it all done and tied up in a bow. When you do a program, so Stacy, if you decided to do a program, I don't know if that's your thing, but if you decided to do a program, you would be able to put a program together for small businesses on how to even approach TV stations, because that's your expertise, right? How to work with them, tie it up in a bow, give them the scripts, give them everything they have to do. Boom, add your consulting onto it. Now all of a sudden it's a whole new business. I don't know if you're interested in that,
but it's a great idea. Absolutely, because I think that's because they always seem so foreign, right? It's like, ooh, there's the TV world, but then you come back, okay, social media stuff you feel very comfortable with because you're on it every day, but it's like, well, I wonder how that person got on there.
And how much
interesting.
And I could, and most small businesses, as you know, their first thought is I can't afford it. So again, I'm a big proponent of putting it all out there and saying, this is what I have for you. This is the cost. This is what I think it's going to get you. Not let's work something. If somebody comes to me, and as I said, I work for a restaurant chain, and I get pitched all the time because I do their marketing. So if somebody comes to me and says, you know, can we talk? Can we have a meeting and see what can work? I always say no. And I always say, you know, send me your best offer, your best campaign. You got 10 minutes, nail me. And I'm your easiest sell if it's all there.
Right.
Easiest. Boom. Right. But it has to be there. So, you know, my number one thing is don't say, how can, you know, let's sit down and talk and how can we help you? Because for most people that are struggling right now in small businesses, that's the last thing they want to hear. They want to hear a solution.
Well, I think you're right. I think the solution is a big one, because I think it's the positioning and it's the trying to understand how they can, like you said before, talk about things just in a little bit of a different way.
Yeah.
Because people are thinking differently.
Yeah.
You know, I'm working with a small business who's a fitness facility, and they're struggling because it's like, how do we, like, I'm trying to figure out different angles to show like physical distancing, because angles of camera can be really deceiving. You know, how can I show something without saying it obviously? How much obvious do you need to be, right? In saying, hey, look, I'm wearing a mask, or, you know, we have a HEPA filter or whatever in there to clean the air and all of that kind of stuff. So trying to figure out how to position these things as this is now our normal business versus highlighting it. So it's a really interesting play right now on how to ease people's fears.
But the people that Stacy, if that's you, the people that recognize that and decide to truly be of service, because your sales be of service. I get it's for money, but of service, you're the ones that are going to win. You're the ones that people are going to remember. You're the one. Listen, all through this, we're here every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, helping you guys with your business. So I guarantee that when, some of you go and do great things, you'll still come back and be one of our guests.
I hope so.
Yeah, because
you're
you'll
invited.
say, hey, you guys were there for us. I'm going to come in and be there for someone else. And that's kind of why we're here, right? We are here because we're giving back to everyone that helped us with our businesses.
Sorry, I'm just making sure there weren't any, because people send me messages, so I just want to check.
And I can't read anything.
That's okay.
I'll just sit here and have some
keep
water.
talking.
So hopefully I answered your question, Stacy. I hope you go out there and make that, pretty bow for somebody, because I think you got a really cool opportunity.
Well, I think one of the questions, and this kind of comes a little bit off of what Stacy had said, because she's talking about the fact that she would do this as a side business. And one of the other questions that came in was, how do you highlight something that's a side business when it's not your primary business without somebody going, so are you not doing that anymore?
Yeah, is it not working?
Fail
Did
at
you
that?
fail?
Yeah, because you don't want people to think that. So
Yeah.
I struggled with that sort of in the beginning when I'm, took on another, I added a service on that wasn't my primary. It's becoming my primary.
Yeah.
But the first thing people said was, are you not doing the other thing anymore?
Right.
So how do you position that?
So I simply say, if somebody asks that of me, oh, people are yelling. They're in the water. Okay. I simply say, I've been doing it for a long time, part-time, and the interest is growing and growing and growing. And so many people are asking me to do it. And I love what I'm doing, and I'm helping people. I'm getting results. So for me, I want to dedicate a little more time to that business because it has grown. I didn't expect it to, but it grew. And that's it, and leave it at that. And people will say, oh, okay, that makes sense, because it is true. Why do you add a side hustle? Why do you add an extra piece to your business? It's because you know that somebody wants it, right? Exactly. They're asking for it. And so all of a sudden you're like going, okay, I'm willing to give more of my time. I'm not discounting what I'm doing. I'm still doing it. It's fantastic. But this other opportunity is growing, and you can't, an opportunity is a gift, not a given, right? So you have to take that opportunity, and you have to see where it goes with you, because sometimes that little side business that you're sometimes afraid to say it out loud or afraid to tell people ends up being your big business, which is very successful and makes you a lot of money. So don't treat it as, oh, I'm just doing this little thing on the side. Say, honestly, I was doing it on the side, but it's grown. And people want it. And that's really...
And you started it because people want it.
Right. And it's simple.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a great way to position it, because I think some people get... I feel like if they start to talk about one, that they're actually putting the other one down.
Yeah.
But they're not in the way that you position it, which is really cool. No. So, awesome.
Any other questions, guys? It's Friday. You're supposed to ask lots of questions. So we've been, and if you don't, then you have to listen to me talk. So your choice.
Some questions. She will babble.
I will.
She can. So even though we have, people behind us that you can't see in the water and swimming and throwing the football around and all of that kind of stuff, which is very distracting.
It's very distracting. Yeah.
But that's okay.
But today we drove up. Well, I drove up with my young one, not that young. He's 15.
He's 15 and very large.
He's 6 feet, so he's not really little.
No.
But so I drove up here, and I didn't sleep much last night. Well, I don't really sleep much, but I didn't sleep. And I was telling Stacy that we're working on a new project, and I watched myself last night. In the middle of the night, I watched myself draw on all these large Post-it notes, and I got it. I got everything we were doing.
Very excited to know what was in her head. Find that out tomorrow.
So I'm a little bit groggy today, but I was very excited because my strategy of what I want to do is all out there. I can see it, and it was kind of cool. So I'm excited tomorrow. That's what we're going to do. We're going to be working on the whole strategy and implementation.
Because sometimes
pieces.
Work doesn't stop.
Doesn't stop. But what I wanted to point out for those of you who are doing a lot and overwhelmed, and and I'm like that all the time. But when you get something, when when you like Stacy did and had her little moment where she got it today, and then all of a sudden your energy goes up. And that was kind of like me this morning. I didn't really sleep, but when I got up, I was really excited because I was like, I got it. I got this. I'm going to write it all out. So I'm really excited to look after what we want to do tomorrow, more than is it work. Everything is work, but when you enjoy it and you see what it's going to look like with the bow, then it doesn't seem
so awesome. Like it was literally like an hour ago, and I was like, I got it. And she's like, yes. you get re-energized, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's something technical, whether it's a strategy, whether it's an idea, because sometimes you have an initial thought of an initial idea and you write it down, and it's like, well, no, not quite yet. And then you start to see it form, and that's when the excitement comes in, whether you're starting to build a brand around it or, some piece of it that you need to have happen first. So I think that's an interesting thing to understand, that sometimes just having an idea, that's great, and you're super excited and you write it down or you put it in your phone. But when you actually start to visually see it, so you see any sort of part of the branding, the coloration, anything like that really kind of takes you to that next level where it's like, okay, it's becoming real.
Yeah,
tangible.
We were seeing this this little logo and this thing we were doing today that my kid actually put together for us, and we were like, like little school kids. We were like, I love it.
So he's like, you realize that that was nothing for me, right? And that's where it's interesting to see different people's strengths and use them to the advantage, right? Like to him, it was a fun thing that he was working on. To us, that would have taken hours.
Yeah, and we probably wouldn't have done. We would have just hired somebody because we didn't know. I was literally the other day, I was like going, well, I wish I knew somebody who could do this. And he's kind of like, well, me.
But he's going into grade 11, so it wasn't our initial thought.
No.
But he knows the program really well because he worked on it last year in school and one of the courses that he took. So don't discount if you can give guidance. He doesn't know he needs very specific. He knows the technical.
Yeah, he goes, what do you guys want exactly?
He's not a strategist.
And then, we're like, oh, wouldn't it be fun if you could do this? And he's like, no problem.
And he goes, click. Well, that was easy. So fine. I think if you can't, I know Anthea has already gone probably, but she was saying earlier that she was trying to put together her lead magnet, and she actually went to Fiverr, which I thought was great because she realized very quickly that it was not in her best interest maybe to use her time to create all of that. And yes, I'm sure she can.
Sure.
I can do a lot of things as well, and I probably could have learned the program.
But
but I don't have to.
No, we have to. And that's what you have to identify, what it is that you're good at, right? What are you good at, and do more of it. Mm-hmm. And by if Stacy, if you notice when I answered your question, I got much more animated in my I talk quicker.
You get excited with other people's ideas. That's the really fun part. I love that.
So I do. I get excited because I can see in my brain. I already saw your whole program. I saw your sales pitch to the small businesses. I mean, that's how my brain thinks, right? So when somebody says, oh, this is what I do, I'm like, oh, we can do this and this and this, because that's what excites me, right? Turn it over to Stacy. She gets excited by doing, actually telling people how they implement it, right? How the tech works.
Look at what you can do.
So you have to identify it, right? And that's why we work so well together. We like to work on different things, so it makes sense for us. But you have to really identify what it is that you like and do more of it. Because when you get excited about talking about it, right, you're in your groove, and that's what you should be doing.
So what if somebody else has an idea? So what if you see that somebody else is doing something,
right,
and you take that idea and you make your own business from it?
Cool. There's no new ideas.
No, that's a great answer.
Well, there's no
done.
There's no new ideas out there. So what you're taking is the concept, of which I'm assuming you do too. You're taking the concept and you're giving somebody your spin on that concept. Now, you can't take it, if somebody's trademarked something or copyrighted, you can't take it word for word, but the idea is never copyrighted, right? So the idea, the truth is there's a million coaches, right? right? You can't, like, it doesn't matter. You all teach, there's a million programs. I teach a course creation program. So does about 20,000 other people. So what's the difference between my program and theirs? We go at it differently. We have a very different outlook about how it's actually done. So some people would prefer somebody else's and some people prefer mine. It depends on what you're looking for, right? So there is no reason to not take it, what they're doing, and do the exact same thing, but your take on it, right?
So your
yours.
personality comes into it, your background, your expertise, your knowledge, your view of it, how you would position it,
Right.
what would your bow look like?
Yeah.
What would everything that be what you include in there? Your bow is going to be very different than theirs. So.
Well, I'll give you an example in our course creation when we just talked about lead magnets. Is one of the first things. I mean, I talk about very specifics and understanding what you're good at. I talk about understanding where you want to go in your target, and then we create lead magnets. Most programs do not do it that way. They start with, what's your title of your new course, and what do you want to teach? I don't do it that way because for me, I need you to get the real stuff in place, the foundational parts that start building your list so that you can create your program so you can sell it. So my take on it, my roadmap is different than someone else's.
Right.
So what's different in your roadmap to whatever you're looking at someone else doing? Because there is a difference.
Or the system you're using to get them there, or the tools that you're able to teach that might be different than somebody else's, even though the bigger idea is the same. Like I know a lot of people, a ton of them that either they teach LinkedIn, they do podcasting, they teach it, they edit it, they're producers, whatever. And guess what ends up happening? I connect with them all.
Yeah.
I connect, not with all of them, obviously, because there's only, again, about 20 million of them. But I connect with the key ones because I would also want a network of people who do something similar to me, so that if I am either not a good fit, because let's just face it, you're not going to be a good fit for everybody. So if you're not a good fit, maybe you don't have time, maybe their expertise would be better for the client.
Absolutely.
You want people to also refer to.
I'm not a good fit for everyone.
And neither am I. And you know what? But I am a good fit for a lot of people. So when I meet somebody what I don't feel I'm a good fit for, I also, again, want to have those people in my back pocket that can go, you know what? I'd love to refer you to this person.
You know exactly who to send them to, right? You know exactly, because usually they're the polar opposite of you. And your whole goal is to get that customer, that client, what they need, because they will always remember that you referred them to somebody, and that's a huge impact that you can do. So I'm never afraid if I meet somebody, and I've had a lot of calls that I've just said, I'm really not for you, but I know who would be perfect for you. And don't take it as a slight. I just know personality wise, because I'm and Stacy's the same. We're very blunt. We're very like, do this, let's get this done, let's move ahead. Some people aren't good with that. They like to talk a lot. I don't really do that. We rather work and get it done. So it's and there's nothing wrong with either approach. You just have to identify that.
Yeah. So. It's actually interesting. There's somebody that I know, we both do very similar things when it comes to LinkedIn, and we've never met. We've never spoken on the phone. We've only connected through social media, and we've literally referred a bunch of people to each other because I know what her, like how she views things and how she works. And both have been really good referrals.
Yeah.
So it's great. So if you do have, you're not stealing an idea, because like Faye said, there's no new ideas out there. But connect with people who do similar things to you. I think that's a great opportunity to network with people in your industry.
It's really funny. We're always watching other people's stuff all the time because we always like to learn. So we're constantly watching stuff, and it's all stuff that we already know, but we just watch it anyway. And we were watching something today, and I was like, I remember I turned to Stacey, I'm like, oh my God, that's so great. And then I'm like, hey, wait a minute, I've already done that.
So you forget.
But her approach was a little different, right? And it wasn't the teaching, it was her marketing. Yeah. But again, like you always can keep learning, and you can change it up as you get, more and more interested and more in depth in what you do. So it's kind of cool. Any questions? Any more questions?
None. Very quiet
You
this
guys
Friday.
are gonna let us go drink?
No, we can just.
No, we have to feed the boys. Is what we have to do.
Well, they have to finish swimming first.
yeah, that's true.
That's okay.
So, okay. So, a lot of people kind of shy away when we're talking about strategy days because people are afraid to share the strategies. How many times can we say every week to please share in the group and nobody really wants to share their stuff?
No, we're not feeling loved.
No, we're not.
But you did get comments because one thing that Faye always says, like the more comments that she gets, the more feedback she receives, the more value she wants to give.
Yeah.
So maybe they just don't want to see us live every day. No. But it's Friday night. It is summer. We will give you that for sure. It is coming towards the end of August, which is crazy.
I know.
But we're still pumping along. Yeah.
So we talked all about strategy all week long. That's all we talked about. Ideas, strategy, trying to get your roadmap out. And so what comes after strategy?
Putting it together.
Yeah.
Put in place. So you can't put your strategy into action unless you have a strategy. So we talked about strategy and how to put that into place last week. So next week,
Monday.
Monday. Yes, it's next week. So we're finishing off the week, obviously the weekend. So Monday, we're going to actually talk about putting your strategy into production. So similar to, the movie is done filming and all the ideas are kind of on the table, then it has to go into production. Same thing with ideas, same thing with strategy. You now have to put it into production.
Yeah,
so
that's her.
That's me. So I'm actually going to teach you how to take some of those ideas, how to create a system, because creating a system is so important when it comes to, because it's kind of like when you first create a thing, right? The first time you create it is work. So when you're creating a system, same thing. So when you want to duplicate that, you end up doing that, what tools you're going to need, all of that kind of stuff. So I love taking the ideas and putting them, basically implementing them, which means you have to take action. Which means you have to carve out some time to create that system and actually put it into production. And this is where you can either do the producing yourself, or sometimes you can outsource some of that. So not necessarily to me, but there's part of the production that I don't do. So even if you want to take social media, right? There's two different types of people. There's the social media strategists that can actually help you build that strategy. And then there's the social media managers that take that strategy and implement it.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of different levels when it comes to whether it's the overall business strategy, the marketing strategy, the social media strategy, whatever that is. And at each point, there's different implementation steps and production as well. So,
and we'll have tech with it, and we'll try not to talk about Trello boards.
I can guarantee you we're going to talk about Trello boards. It's really hard when you're talking about strategy and production and systems. It's really hard not to talk about Trello.
Why do we not have stock in that company?
I know, right? And you know what is really funny? Like they don't have, like, I wish I could get an affiliate fee or something from it. I wish I feel like I'm going to send them our entire YouTube channel and say, look at how many times we say the word Trello.
Yeah. We should do so here's the funny part. They have this kind of affiliate thing.
Not really.
When if you refer someone, you get like 2 weeks of like gold membership,
star.
But we're already gold.
Like, it doesn't do anything.
No, we pay for it. Like we pay the $45 to get a year. We don't need it. Just don't get, Trello, stay free. It's just the only reason is because we have bigger uploads that we like to put on the board. But yeah, like
I just think it's funny.
Yeah.
So no, we will definitely be talking about Trello because it comes to systems.
It does.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
So,
all right, guys. So
thank you. Have a good weekend. And Monday at noon to start putting all of your ideas in action.
Monday Eastern time.
Eastern time at noon. Yes.
Because we got in trouble.
Did we?
Yeah.
We should talk about time zones.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Watch the Facebook page. The event is going up soon, and I will share it into the group.
All right.
This weekend as well. So we'll see you then.
Bye.